back to my channel. Before we hop into this video, I want to say if you guys haven't seen my video I posted on the Chris Watts case, I know you guys go check that out. Like always, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's just get right into this video, you guys. If you guys like the Chris Watts case and me talking about it so much, you know what I mean, I decided I'm going to do another, well, it's going to be about a serial killer, and I'm going to kind of talk about the case a little bit, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on it, you know what I mean? Like I always said, these are just for entertainment purposes. These are not to harm anyone. Don't leave hate to anyone, you know what I mean? This is just my opinion, you know what I mean? And this is just for entertainment purposes. This is not for to harm anyone or to bash anyone. I'm just going to be reviewing the case and talking about my opinion on it and kind of just how I feel about it, you know what I mean? But always, like I said, give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like, you know what I mean? Don't forget to comment anything you want to see below. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I probably just said that, but let's just get right into this video. To be about the Highway 20 murders, which the person that was committing these crimes, and I believe Highway 20 was in Oregon, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was in Oregon, was John Arthur Ackroyd. Yes, I am reading some information that I have down below, so I don't forget anything or mess anything up. And if I do, and you guys know about this case, which is, it's super interesting, I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and it's just creepy and just scary and just, it's just twisted and all, you know what I mean? Comment down below, because I definitely want to know if you guys know about it. But it's about John Arthur Ackroyd. And John Arthur Ackroyd, I hope I'm saying that right. Excuse me if I'm getting the name wrong, even though I don't know. He was an American murderer and a possible serial killer. In 1992, he was sentenced to 5 life terms in prison for the abduction and murder of Kay Turner, which was one of his victims. In 1997, Ackroyd, I don't want to say that word, but the R word, if you guys know what I'm saying, if you guys know, you know, Marlene Gabrielson, excuse me if I'm getting the name wrong. In 1978, he, along with Roger Dale Beck, abducted and murdered Kay Turner. Roger Beck was also found guilty in the murder of Kay Turner at a separate trial. Ackroyd's stepdaughter, you guys, we'll get into that. Stepdaughter, Rashonda Pickle, went missing in 1990. Ackroyd was charged with Rashonda's murder in 2013 and pled no contest. Yeah, so let's just, now that I kind of give you guys a little preface about it, let's just kind of, let me just give you guys some of my opinion on it. I watched the 2-hour documentary, or like, it was like a documentary type style video on the Highway 20 murders, and when I started watching it, I literally watched the entire 2-hour documentary video, whatever you want to call it, and it was just so interesting, and it was so twisted about this John Ackroyd guy. Because the thing is with him, he was like a little to known serial killer, you know what I mean? Of course, he wasn't like the Ted Bundys, and he wasn't like the Jeffrey Dahmers, you know what I mean, of the world, you know what I mean? But the crimes that he committed was so twisted and so sick, and it was just so, like, he literally got away with the first R word of Marlene. I watched her talk about it, and she literally was just like, you know, so distraught as anybody would be, you know, in a situation and going through that, and so traumatic and still shooken up to this day about it. She literally was like, you know, if they would have believed, and obviously the police didn't believe her back then, which was just so crazy to me, because it's just like the police are supposed to protect and serve, and you know, that is literally a whole other video for a whole other day, you guys. But like literally, she literally was just like, you know, the police did nothing to protect her. They did nothing to like even look into the case and even really just like listen to her or believe her, you know what I mean? So it was kind of just on that sense of it was kind of so fucked up, you know what I mean? And it was just kind of just like, you know, another issue with the police. There are people that are supposed to protect us and they didn't, you know what I mean? They obviously didn't protect her, you know? So that was also really just so sad, you know what I mean? And just the fact that, like I said, he was just so, he wasn't big known. Like when I literally looked this up on YouTube and was just watching random documentaries, I stumbled across that, and I was just like, why have I never heard of this man? And it was just like, the crimes that he committed were so sick and twisted, and just like, it was just so, obviously it wasn't right, you know what I mean, what he was doing, but it was just like the fact that he got away so many times and was just able to just escape so many times, which then again, serial killers are usually very smart individuals, like, that is like kind of just known about them, that they're just like a very smart individual and very smart people, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was also just so crazy, and just the whole Rashada pickle, we'll get into that. I'll talk about that also, which was his stepdaughter. You guys, literally his stepdaughter was abducted and murdered. You know what I mean? And the fact that, like, even when I was watching the case on YouTube, you know, when I was watching the documentary, I'll also link that down below for you guys since I'm talking about this video and this is the topic of it. I will link that down below for you guys if you guys want to go check it out. It's super interesting. You know, even just when I heard that, you know what I mean, and to know that she was like, I believe she was 13. I don't have it in the notes that I wrote down, but I'm pretty sure if I can remember from watching the video, she was 13 years old. And it was just, you know what I mean, so crazy to know that he would murder his own stepdaughter. You know what I mean? Of course, he let alone murder people, but your own stepdaughter, you know what I mean? So that alone, I was just like, this is really sick and a really twisted ass case, you know what I mean? And it was just like, I wanted to talk about this, and this was like a so that I just kind of just felt like I needed to talk about this case, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? He really just was super conniving, super sneaky. Like, he knew how to. I believe he was a highway worker. He was a mechanic, you know what I mean? So he knew the different highways of Highway 20. He knew different pathways, and because mind you, Highway 20 was a long, creepy ass road. Like, if I can put a picture down in this video or put it somewhere, I'll put it throughout the video. But this highway, you guys, was super creepy. It was super like anything you've ever seen in a scary movie. That was like Highway 20. Like, just picture that, like a long, creepy, dark, trees everywhere, like deserted highway, you know what I mean? So he was very like familiar with the highway, so he kind of just knew how to get away with what he was doing and how to, you know, evade the police and how to just like answer the right questions and kind of just like evade the police and try to continue to do what he was doing, you know what I mean? Which was fucking sick, you guys, you know what I mean? He had no remorse for these people. He had no just sense for human life, you know what I mean? And just this is just my opinion. This is just how I feel, you know what I mean, from watching the documentary and just from watching his interviews and people talking to him. He just kind of just had no remorse. He kind of just seemed very cocky, very arrogant, you know, had an ego, very was just like, you know, he kind of just knew he wasn't going to get caught, or he obviously thought that he wasn't going to get caught, you know what I mean? Which, I mean, he did. So, you know, and it was just really, really crazy. It was one of the craziest, like, because it was just so mind-boggling, the fact that he not only was out murdering these innocent women, you know what I mean, that he, you know, had no business doing and doing what he was doing to them, you know what I mean? The fact that he could murder his own stepdaughter, you know what I mean? And I'm just going to say this, I don't know, because her mom, the girl's mom, Rochelle Pickle's mom, she was, you know, in the documentary and she was talking, and it kind of just made me upset with her. I don't know if that's the whole, obviously I wasn't there, you know, I am just reporting this, I'm just talking about this, I'm just, you know, these are just my opinions and just what I have seen and viewed and looked up. And when she was talking in the documentary, she was just kind of like, and you guys will see it, you know what I mean, that's what I said, I'll link it down below for you guys, but it was just kind of like, she wanted to believe that he did it, you know what I mean, but she didn't really know if he did, and you know what I mean, like, there was just so many facts and so many like red flags to where I feel like, how could you have not known that it was him, you know what I mean? He physically abused Rochelle and her brother, because her brother was also on the documentary and he was talking about it, and you know, he physically abused them, he did everything to them, you know what I mean, mentally abused them, you know. So there were a bunch of red flags. I don't know how the mom didn't see it, I don't know, you know. Who knows what really was going on, you know what I mean, in that household, and what Rochelle and her brother had to go through, you know what I mean. It was just so heartbreaking to even hear her brother now talk about the last time he's seen her, and how he felt like he was always supposed to protect her, and how he kind of felt guilty about that. It was just also heartbreaking, you know what I mean. All of the cases were super heartbreaking, you know, to really hear, and you know, the fact that he was murdering these women and just kind of had no remorse, and that he was just so like arrogant and so cocky about it, and just how he kind of just thought he was going to get away, which, I mean, of course, most serial killers, they, you know, if you watch any documentaries or their videos on them, they kind of just are arrogant and cocky. Most of them feel like they'll get away with it, you know what I mean? I don't know, you guys, this case was just so interesting. It was just so interesting how he was just so, it was just so, he made it kind of just so easy for him to like evade the police, and just how he was just so like he just kind of just knew the back road of the Highway 20, and how he just, you know, obviously like I said, he was a mechanic worker, but he was just so conniving and cunning, and how he would just like commit these murders, and how he just kind of just didn't have any remorse for anyone or just for any human life, you know what I mean? And the fact that Marlene, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but his first victim, she obviously survived, you know, the attack, but she said because, you know, after he, the R word, I won't say it, after he committed that, you know, he was going to leave her there, you know what I mean? And she was just saying how, you know, she was like, you can't just leave me here, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've already done what you've done, you know what I mean? And the least you could do is like not leave me stranded here, and that in itself is just kind of scary to, and it's sick and twisted to know that this man did what he did to you, and he violated you, and to know that you still kind of need him in a sense to get home, because like I said, she was stranded he would have left her on Highway 20, and I'm going to show you guys a picture of the long hot and what it looks like, and it's super creepy. I would never want to be left stranded there. I know you guys definitely wouldn't want to be, no one would want to be stranded there, you know what I mean? I promise you, like, it's super creepy, but she was just saying how, you know, he was kind of just like going to leave her there, and she basically convinced him to drive her home, you know what I mean? And he asked her if she would be his girlfriend. You guys, he literally violated her, did what he did to her, and this sicko had the nerve to ask her, will you be my girlfriend? Like, that's what I'm trying to like tell you guys about this man, and just kind of give you guys a brief like description about him. Is just kind of like, that's the type of man like that he was, you know what I mean? And the type of serial killer that he was is that he was so super cocky, and he just kind of knew that he was going to get away with it, you know what I mean? And kind of the backstory of Marlene is that because I kind of just feel like I kind of skipped her story a little bit, and I kind of just told you up into the point of what happened, the attack, and I just didn't tell you like how she got into the car with him. She was recently married. She just had a child, and she was out one night at a club, I believe, or at a bar, and she was like, I believe she was arguing with her boyfriend, or she had gotten upset. Something was happening, and she was upset, and she wanted to go home, you know what I mean? She wanted to go check on her baby, you know what I mean? And she asked a stranger for a ride, and the stranger was obviously John Aykroyd, and that's kind of how the attack kind of led up to it, you know what I mean? And this is what I want you guys to know, is just never get in the car with a stranger, never ever get into the car with somebody you don't know, or you're not comfortable with, or you have no idea who it is, you know what I mean? Always get into the car with somebody that you know, call a family member, call a friend, somebody, you know what I mean? Do not ever get into the car with a stranger, you know what I mean? And that's just what I wanted to say on that. But basically, yeah, she got into the car with him. She thought he was a nice guy and was going to just take her home, you know what I mean? And obviously that wasn't the case, you know what I mean? And, you know, but like I said, for him to ask, would she be his girlfriend, is to let you guys know the mind of this man, and how he was so, just thought he was just going to get away with everything, you know what I mean? But, yeah, you guys, this was a super, really kind of just interesting case. It was kind of just, I was drawn into when I was watching the whole documentary. I literally watched the entire documentary. And it was just twisted. There were so many twists and turns with it, and there were so many like ups and downs towards it, you know what I mean? And just to know the fact that, of course, he deserves to be where he belongs, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's kind of just like, it's so heartbreaking that you know, with the first attack of his Marlene, that no one believed her, because if, like she even said in the documentary, if someone would have believed her the first time, the rest of these murders wouldn't have had to happen, you know what I mean? No one else would have had to go through what she went through, even though she survived, and, you know, she was the only one that survived, you know what I mean? It's just crazy to know that the police, if they would have listened to her and didn't judge her and would have believed her, that, you know, this man could have been caught a lot sooner, you know what I mean? And because he was just, like I said, he was so conniving, and so he just knew that he was going to, like, get away with what he was getting away with. And I don't know, you guys, it was just super interesting to just watch, and just to, like, not even interesting, like, it was just so, like, heartbreaking to hear these cases, and to hear the victim, and, you know, the only one that survived, you know what I mean? To just hear her heartbreak, and I could just only imagine what the victims of the other families went through, and how they had to heal from that, and especially to know that you murdered your stepdaughter, you know what I mean? Because I believe that he did, you know what I mean? That's my opinion. That's just how I feel, you know. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, you know, and this is just my opinion. I just kind of feel like he did kind of know, or he did do something, you know what I mean? Did he have help? We don't know. He possibly could have had help, but I definitely think he did, just from the red flags and the physical abuse that he was doing to her, and that she would talk about with her close friends. I believe he murdered his stepdaughter, Rochelle Pickles, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. Ackroyd was finally arrested 14 years later after what was believed to be his first killing in 1978, the murder of Kay Turner. But according to the series that I was talking about, that I'll link it down below for you guys, investigators also suspected that he was also responsible for Pickles' disappearance, which was his stepdaughter, along with the murders of Sanders and Swanson, which those were also two other victims of his that he did. I need to look up their names. I thought I wrote their names down. And it was also believed that he was tied to 5 other unsolved murders, which I also forgot to mention, you guys. 5 unsolved murders, also around the Oregon area, that no one even had known about, and they were just still unsolved. So who definitely knows if he also committed those 5 murders? So this guy, like I said, was definitely he knew how to get away with what he was doing. Like I said, I don't know. No one knows if he committed those unsolved 5 murders, and not the ones that I'm previously talking about, but the unsolved ones. So we don't know, you know what I mean? So, which that's also very eerie and very creepy, and still to this day, it's just kind of just like, I feel so sorry for the families, because they still don't have answers to this day, and they still never know what happened to their loved one, you know? So it sucks. Akron died at the Oregon State Penitentiary in Salem in late 2006 before he could be tied in the disappearance of Pickles, which was his, Roshonda Pickles, which was his stepdaughter, and the deaths of Sanders and Swanson. So, oh yes, her name was, one of the girls' name was Sheila Swanson. And I don't know, I will find the other girl's name. But, yeah, it's really just so crazy, and so the way that he just, like I said, just went about these murders, and how he just murdered these innocent women, and just he preyed on the vulnerable, you know what I mean, which is such a coward and just so weak, like, you know what I mean, just like, you know, I don't know, just I never understand it. The more like I watch these documentaries, and I just like get into them, and really just like I've always been into like true crime videos and just like documentaries about serial killers and things like that, and just every time I watch a new one or discover someone new and just kind of dive into it, you know what I mean, just learn about them, it's just always just like, how could these people just do what they do, you know what I mean, and just like commit these crimes and just go about it as if like they haven't done anything wrong, and just kind of just try to live this normal life, and just some of them succeed at living this normal life, you know what I mean, just this double life, whatever you want to call it. And it's freaky. It always freaks me out. I don't know, like, that's interesting to me, but it's just gives me the freaking heebie-jeebies. But yeah, like, that's kind of just like how I kind of feel about this case, the ghost of Highway 20, these murders, and it just kind of is just like, you know, I'll never understand it, you know what I mean? It will always freak me out. It will always just be like, you know, you just never understand why these people commit these crimes, and why they do these murders and do these horrible things to innocent people and to people in general, and just, I don't know, you know what I mean? And even in the documentary, I want to, because I didn't like really go into like, I want to know his kind of like his backstory, you know what I mean? Because I don't really believe it talked about it in the documentary. I'm not for sure. And it's just kind of just like, I don't know, you know, what did he really go through in his life to make him like feel like he had to do what he did, or what turned him to that point of no return, or just, I don't know, I just kind of never understand why these serial killers kind of just do what they do, and why they kind of just like commit these crimes. It's just kind of like, I don't know, but I hope you guys like this video of the ghost of Highway 20. It was super interesting for me to learn about, and it was super interesting for me to read about, because I never learned about this serial killer, and he was definitely one of the worst, you know what I mean, in my opinion, and just what he did was just unspeakable and just crazy, and just, I don't know if you guys like it though, it was super interesting. Like I said, I will link everything down below. Like I said, these are just my opinions, these are just for entertainment purposes. I hope you guys like this video. Like always, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Stay safe out there, guys. I love you guys so much, and if you like this video, definitely comment down below, give this video, like I said, a thumbs up, and I will continue to do different ones. Give me some names you guys want me to talk about, or anything, and like I said, any ideas you want me to do, just let me know. I really would appreciate it. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.